Hi there, welcome to the Solo Muster Drill. This is a roundup of recent cruise news. It's May 11th, 2025, and over the next few minutes I'll bring you some of the cruise news, stories and controversies from Princess Cruises, Royal Caribbean, Carnival Cruises, Norwegian Cruise Line and MSC Cruises. And stay tuned until the end where I'll bring you a rundown of some of the cruise deals that I've found this week, with a special focus on cruise lines offering fares with small or no single supplements. So first up, let's take a look at Princess Cruises. Now they've been making some changes to their packages. In 2024, they introduced their Princess Plus and Princess Premier packages. Guests can choose to add on either of those to their standard cruise fare and essentially make it an all-inclusive. So big ticket items included in each package are daily gratuities or crew appreciation, the Medallion Net Max Wi-Fi, that's the super fast version, and also the beverage package. And other nice included items are those very decadent princess desserts, complimentary room service, fitness classes, and some casual dining in venues such as Alfredo's Pizzeria or O'Malley's Irish Pub. So in addition, on the Premier package, that also includes unlimited specialty dining and an enhanced beverage package, including more top-shelf drinks. So since it was introduced, the Princess Plus package has cost $60 or £50 sterling, while the Princess Premier package cost $90 or £75 sterling. So while there was initial confusion and definitely some outrage in the cruising community recently about the news of a price increase of $5 on each package, Princess have clarified that the price increase will apply to packages purchased on board, but not to packages purchased in advance. A price hike of any kind seems to be continuing to cause a degree of unhappiness in the Princess cruising community, but in reality, what the line is doing is consistent with the approach of many of their competitors who also sell beverage packages, Wi-Fi and so on at special offer rates if booked pre-cruise. And most who have sampled either of the Princess packages, myself included, generally agree that all of the all-inclusive offering is some of the best value in mainstream cruising that's out there. So adding to Princess Cruises' unrest this past week is the controversy over the soda or soft drink offering in the various beverage packages. This has become known as Sodagate. So while the soda on offer in the past was from the soda fountain, more recently canned soda has been on offer. But following reports from guests on various ships in recent weeks that they were being refused canned soda as part of their beverage package, Princess have confirmed that going forward, canned soda will not be available as part of any of the beverage packages. Instead, it'll be back to fountain soda. Guests can, of course, purchase the canned soda separately. That would be a separate charge, and it comes to around about $3.50, including the 18% service charge. It remains to be seen whether or not the complimentary minibar setup for guests who are elite in Princess's loyalty programme will continue to include canned beverages. So moving on to look at Royal Caribbean, and they're actually going in the opposite direction with their beverage package offering. There are reports this week that their non-alcoholic beverage package, which is called the refreshment package, is actually being expanded, and it'll now include non-alcoholic beers, wines and spirits. The new beverage choices will only be available, of course, to guests of legal drinking age. The refreshment beverage package already included non-alcoholic cocktails, so it really broadens out the range. So at present, there's no indication of a price hike to go along with the enhanced beverage choices, and that's undoubtedly a positive thing. The refreshment beverage package on average costs $42, although there are usually special offers pre-cruise, so make sure to check your Royal Caribbean app for details of those. Less positive news coming from Royal Caribbean recently, at least as far as bargain hunting cruisers are concerned, is news delivered by the group CEO Jason Liberty during the company's Q1 earning call. So while discussing Royal Caribbean's very positive Q1 position, which he called the best wave season ever, Mr. Liberty disclosed that they had been seeing strong demand close to sailing dates. And in response to this, instead of the usual approach of dropping fares to ensure cabins are filled, they've actually been able to increase prices. And as the demand for cruising is not expected to slow down, Royal Caribbean now intend to continue this model of increasing prices close to the sailing date. Bargain hunters out there, if you're intending to cruise on Royal Caribbean, it's becoming necessary to book and plan well in advance in order to avail of the best pricing. And the final Royal Caribbean group news this week is a rumour of plans to enhance their product on offer in the Bahamas. So there's already Perfect Day Coco Cay, which is their private island, and that's been a huge success and has become a much loved destination by cruisers. And work is also ongoing to develop the Royal Beach Club on Paradise Island in Nassau. So for cruisers who are familiar with docking in Nassau, it's going to be on that narrow strip of land that's just opposite the docking area, and it's due to open in December of this year. So this week, there are indications that the Royal Caribbean Group is in the process of acquiring a property on Grand Bahama Island. It's the Xanadu Beach Hotel and Resort. It's set on approximately 40 acres and it's been shut down for some time. So the purchase of the property is said to be in the region of $348 million. Now, there are no future plans for the property announced as yet, but there is speculation that it might be intended to cater for celebrity cruises as opposed to Royal Caribbean, given that that's also part of the overall Royal Caribbean group. In any case, whether it's intended to be a Royal Caribbean or a Celebrity Cruises beach resort, it's bound to give Carnival Cruises' new offering on Grand Bahama a run for its money. Carnival's new beach resort, Celebration Key, is of course nearing completion and due to open this summer. And Carnival Cruise Line had its own good news story to share this week with the announcement of some technological advancements which will actually see shore excursion tickets going paperless. So in addition to reservation information being accessible on Carnival's Hub app, shore excursion tickets will also be linked to passengers' sail and sign cards. Now, given that the sail and sign cards are the one item that a passenger absolutely needs to keep with them at all times, including when going ashore, it seems like a really positive move. The paperless shore excursion system is already being trialled on some of Carnival Cruise Line sailings in Australia, and it's expected to be rolled out in the US over the summer. And now turning our attention to Norwegian Cruise Line. The Norwegian Epic set sail from Italy earlier this week for the start of its summer season in Europe, and that was after a 3-week dry dock. So a number of changes were made in the dry dock, and they include the addition of a small number of cabins. It'll be interesting to see if they have the same unconventional bathroom setup as the existing cabins on the Epic. If you know what they're like, you know. And then there's also some enhancements on the top decks, including a refreshed kids aqua park, additional hot tub, and an expansion of the adult-only Vibe Beach Club area. So that's the extra charge sun deck area. The Norwegian Epic is currently on a 7-night itinerary, so there aren't many reports out from guests yet as regards what it's like. The Epic had been getting pretty unfavourable reviews lately, so let's hope that the dry dock has improved things. Now, the ship will generally operate 10 and 11-night itineraries around the Mediterranean and Greek islands over the summer period, before returning on its transatlantic crossing in the autumn, and after that it'll do the winter season out of San Juan in Puerto Rico. And other NCL dry dock news this week is that the Pride of America has just commenced a 3-week dry dock, and that's being undertaken in Portland in Oregon. So the ship normally operates a 7-day itinerary around the Hawaiian Islands year-round, and it'll be returning to that on May 31st. So NCL's press release outlines that the upgrades during the dry dock will include the addition of a Starbucks facility, pickleball facilities in the sports court, the relocation and improvement of the kids club facilities, and also the addition of a number of new balcony suites. The final prominent news story of the week, unfortunately, is a rather sad one, and that comes from MSC Cruises Virtuosa. So the ship was on a 2-night sailing from the UK to Belgium last weekend when an altercation occurred on board. It was only about 2.5 hours after the ship had set sail from Southampton in the UK. So sadly, this resulted in the death of a 60-year-old man from the UK. He's reported to have been part of a stag party on board. To North Americans, that's your equivalent of a bachelor party. And there are reports in UK newspapers that describe a very rowdy atmosphere on board, with drunken brawls erupting shortly after the ship set sail. A 57-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder, and as the ship was still in British waters when the incident occurred, the UK, Hampshire and Isle of Wight police continue to investigate the matter. So finally, to close out this news roundup, we'll return to more upbeat news, and in particular some notable cruise bargains that have been on offer this week. Now, I have no affiliations with any cruise line or any company, and all information is purely from online research, which you're free to check out yourself. In outlining some of this week's bargains, consistent with the focus of this channel, I focused on identifying cruise deals with a waived or with a very low single supplement. So turning first to Alaska cruises now that the season has kicked off. So there are several 7-day round-trip NCL sailings from Seattle on board the Norwegian Bliss, Encore and Joy. and various one-way sailings on the Norwegian Jade out of either Anchorage or Vancouver. And they're all on offer for various dates in May with no single supplement. So quoted prices are on both the popular US-based clearinghouse Cruise Travel Agency's website, and also similar prices are available on NCL's own website. Now generally they are for inside cabins, but they're in the range of $499 to $699. So in euro that's about 445 to 620 euro, or in pounds sterling 375 to 525. Unfortunately, the choice is pretty limited, and those very low rates and no single supplements seem to be on offer only in relation to inside staterooms. There appear to be a very limited number of balconies remaining available, and of those that are, they're generally on sale at full 100% supplement. So NCL also has favourable rates for solo cruisers on upcoming sailings to Bermuda for the remainder of May, and they're primarily on the Norwegian Jewel, which is out of Boston. They're for 7-night sailings, and inside cabins are on offer without a single supplement, with prices starting at $529. So moving on then to European cruising opportunities, and again NCL are leading the way on bargains on inside cabins. So a 10-day cruise on the Norwegian Breakaway has inside cabins on offer for €725, and that's for a sailing departing on May 15th. If you're quick you can really get it, and that has 11 ports of call in Italy, Croatia, Greece and France, and as I say there's no single supplement on that. And finally, if a transatlantic crossing on the last remaining ocean liner in the world, Cunard's Queen Mary 2, has ever been on your bucket list, there are some fantastic bargains for various dates remaining in May and into June, and they're on both westbound sailings from Southampton to New York and also eastbound from New York to the UK. So in booking directly with Cunard, the May 16th sailing from New York has inside cabins for £499 sterling per person, or £599 per person for balcony cabin. An eastbound sailing from Southampton on June 6th has inside cabins, and again they're from £499 and balconies from £699. Again, that's based on 2 sharing, or alternatively it means 100% single supplement. But at that price, I think solo travellers would be quite happy. They're significantly cheaper prices than were advertised for those sailings earlier in the year, and definitely quite a good bargain to have that experience. So that wraps up the roundup of cruise news for now. If you'd like to stay up to date with more news roundup or with my other cruise content, please consider subscribing so that you're notified when the next video comes out. Bye for now and enjoy your week.